And we are live. Welcome back, Crypto Crew, to your daily market deep dive. It is Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, and we are looking at a very, very strange market today. It feels heavy, Cooper. The air is thick with uncertainty, yet you look at one corner of the space, and it's like a full-blown party is happening while everyone else is nervously checking their watches.
It's a fascinating dichotomy, Murph. A perfect illustration of how crypto can be both a macro-driven asset class and a collection of micro-narratives all at once. It's great to be here with everyone. And as we always say at the top of the show, please remember that this conversation is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing we say should be considered financial advice. You have to do your own research and make decisions that are right for your own portfolio and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. Be smart out there. So, Coop, let's start with the 30,000 foot view. You said it feels heavy. The data backs that up, right? What's the official sentiment today?
The official sentiment is decidedly bearish. There's a risk-off feeling permeating the broader markets, and it's certainly weighing on the crypto majors. When we look at the prices, you can see that pressure reflected clearly. As of right now, we have Bitcoin trading at exactly $108,000.
$108,000. It's a number that would have sounded like a dream a couple of years ago, but right now it feels more like a ceiling than a launchpad. It's just been hovering there, teasing us.
That's the perfect word for it, teasing. And that's because we're running into some significant technical resistance, which we'll get into. Following Bitcoin's lead, we see Ethereum lagging, currently at $2538.
Oof. 2,500 for ETH. That one stings a little, considering the post-ETF hype we saw earlier this year. It feels like it's lost its momentum entirely and is just being dragged around by Bitcoin and the wider market mood.
It's trading very much like a legacy tech asset right now, highly correlated to the Nasdaq and sensitive to macro fears. Then we have XRP holding its ground at $2. $273. Pretty stable, but not showing any independent strength.
The usual story for XRP then. Just kind of existing in its own lane, waiting for its next major catalyst. But okay, that brings us to the elephant, or should I say, the dog-themed coin in the room. Solana. What's the price there?
Solana is the complete outlier today. It's up significantly, trading at $148. 40. It is completely disconnected from the bearish sentiment we're seeing everywhere else.
$148. And this is on a day you're calling bearish. That's incredible. It's like Solana didn't get the memo that everyone is supposed to be scared right now. Let's start with the big guy first though. Bitcoin. You mentioned the technical wall. Break it down for us. What's happening at these levels?
We're seeing a very clear pattern emerge, and it's one we've seen before. The key resistance zone is between $109,000 and $110,000. Every time the price pushes into that range, a wave of selling pressure hits the market and pushes it back down. Think of it like a cold spring being pressed against a solid ceiling. It has a lot of energy, but it just can't break through.
And who's doing the selling? Is this retail getting scared, or something bigger?
On-chain data strongly suggests it's whale activity. We're seeing large, multi-million-dollar tranches of Bitcoin being moved to exchanges and sold whenever we approach that $110,000 mark. This is a classic profit-taking and de-risking maneuver from long-term, large-scale holders. It's the exact same type of behavior we saw at previous cycle peaks last year. They're not necessarily betting that the top is in, but they are certainly hedging against the macro risks on the horizon.
So the big money is saying, this is a nice profit, but with what's going on in the world, I'm not willing to risk it for a few extra percent. And that brings us to the macro picture. What's making these whales so nervous?
Two primary factors right now. First, we have the ongoing trade tensions. The deadline for the US to impose new tariffs is approaching. While there are whispers it might be extended to August 1st, the rhetoric with the EU remains tense. There's talk of a potential 17% counter tariff on US agricultural exports.
And how does a tariff on corn or soybeans impact the price of Bitcoin? Connect the dots for the folks at home.
It's all about global liquidity and risk appetite. Trade wars, or even the threat of them, create economic uncertainty. That uncertainty spooks investors. When institutional investors get spooked, they pull money out of what they perceive as high-risk assets which, despite its growth, still includes crypto, and they move it into safer havens like cash, gold, or government bonds. Less money flowing into crypto means prices stagnate or fall. It's a headwind that slows the whole ship down.
Got it. So it's not a direct impact, but a second-order effect on the flow of money. What's the second macro factor?
The second factor is what's coming next week. The market is already bracing for it, calling it Crypto Week. We have key consumer price index, or CPI, data being released. Inflation numbers are the single most important data point for the Federal Reserve right now. If inflation comes in hotter than expected, the Fed might signal that interest rates will stay higher for longer, which is kryptonite for risk assets. If it comes in cool, it could be the spark that finally helps Bitcoin break through that $110 ceiling.
So the market is essentially in a holding pattern caught between Bitcoin's technical resistance and the fear of this upcoming CPI data. Everyone is waiting for a clear signal.
Precisely. And in that vacuum, with no clear direction for the majors, capital starts to hunt for unique opportunities. It looks for a story. And right now, that story is Solana.
Okay, let's get into it. The star of the show today. Up around $148 on a down day. This isn't just organic growth, this has to be catalyst driven. What's the rumour mill churning out?
The rumour mill is in overdrive, and it's all centered around exchange-traded funds, or ETF. But it's evolving. It's no longer just a generic Solana spot ETF rumour. The market is now pricing in the possibility of a whole suite of ETFs for the Solana ecosystem. The chatter has gotten so specific that it includes a potential ETF for Bonk, the ecosystem's most prominent memecoin.
A Bonk app? You're kidding me. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, this is crypto after all. But wow. That would be a landmark moment, taking a memecoin and packaging it into a traditional financial product. Is there any substance to this, or is it pure hopium?
The specific rumour is that a Bonk ETF could launch as early as mid-month. Now, is it confirmed? Absolutely not. It's pure speculation at this stage. But the market isn't waiting for confirmation. This is a classic case of buy the rumour. The narrative is so powerful and so specific that it's creating its own gravitational pull. Capital is flowing out of stagnant assets like Ethereum and even Bitcoin and rotating into Solana and other ecosystem tokens like Pyth, Jupiter, and of course, Bonk, to front-run a potential announcement.
So Solana is basically sucking all the oxygen out of the room because it's the only asset with a clear, near-term, and explosive bullish catalyst, even if the catalyst is just a rumour.
Exactly. It's a speculative frenzy based on a powerful what-if. And it's why you see Solana's price completely decoupling from the rest of the market. It's not trading on macro fears or Bitcoin's technicals, it's trading on a singular, powerful narrative.
This really highlights the weakness in the Ethereum right now at $25.38. The ETH ETFs were approved, they launched, and the sell-in news reaction seems to have had a much longer tail than anyone expected. It is no unique story at the moment.
That's a great way to put it. Ethereum's narrative has been realized. The catalyst has passed. So now it trades less on crypto-native speculation and more on its fundamentals and its correlation to broader tech markets, which, as we've discussed, are currently nervous. It's become a victim of the macro environment, while Solana has become the master of its own narrative-driven destiny, at least for now.
So if you're a trader right now, you're looking at a market with two completely different games being played. You have the patient, macro-watching game with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then you have this high-speed, high-risk narrative game with Solana.
That's the perfect summary. And it poses a difficult choice. Do you bet on the fundamentals and wait for the macro picture to improve, or do you chase the narrative and ride the speculative wave in Solana? There is a strong argument for both, and a significant risk to both as well. If the Solana ETF rumours turn out to be false, the air could come out of that rally just as quickly as it inflated.
On the other hand, if that rumour is confirmed and a Bonk ETF is announced next week, holy smokes. We could see a level of retail-driven mania we haven't seen in a long time. So, looking ahead to the rest of this week, what are the key signposts you're watching?
My eyes are glued to two things. First, that $109 to $110 level for Bitcoin. A strong, decisive break above it on high volume would signal that the bulls are wrestling back control despite the macro fears. A sharp rejection, on the other hand, could confirm the bearish sentiment and potentially lead to a deeper correction.
So, Bitcoin's price action at that ceiling is priority number one. What's number two?
Solana. I'm watching the flow of information. Rumors can only sustain a rally for so long. We need to see if any of this chatter solidifies into a real filing or an official statement from an asset manager. The moment that happens, it validates the rally. If all we get is silence, you'll see traders start to take profits, and the narrative will lose its power.
What's the tape and what's the news? It seems simple, but it's everything right now. This is a market on a night-edge coupe. It feels like the calm before a storm, with storm being next week's CPI data.
I agree completely. This week is about positioning and observation. The real fireworks, for better or for worse, are likely coming next week. That CPI print will set the tone not just for crypto, but for all markets heading into the latter half of the month.
Fantastic breakdown, Coop. A tangled web, but you laid it out perfectly. Alright everyone, that is our time for today, July 8th, 2025. What do you think? Are you Team Solana, chasing the narrative? Or are you waiting on the sidelines for the macro dust to settle? Let us know in those comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you back here for the next one. Take care.